Hi guys, thanks for tuning into the channel today. A couple of things to discuss today. One will be this particular bike, the 23 model Hunter 350 by Royal Enfield, and number two will be the Camp Cook and Ride series. So first off on this bike now, reason why we're out here today, or the reason why I'm out today, is I've just fitted the touring mirrors, and a couple of people have asked me, have I tried them out yet to see if they're any better than the stock ones. Now, the stock mirrors itself aren't much good at all. They shake a lot, and I thought it may be possibly from vibes coming up through the bars, or the mirrors are no good, one or the other. So on here now, looking at the mirrors, actually they are pretty clear. So that surprised me, because I just switched the mirrors over, and I haven't been on this bike now for 3 days, and you know, like when you have a little bit of a break off a bike and get back on it, you know how good it is or how bad it is, whatever the case may be. But as far as things go, those mirrors to me look pretty good. And what really surprised me is the stock mirrors were really heavily weighted, so you naturally thought that they would be a better mirror. But well, later on I might put them on the scales and just show you how heavy, but they are really heavy, those stock ones, compared to what I've got on here now on the touring mirrors. And I'm just surprised now how one lot could be so bad and these ones here are pretty good. You know, you do see your elbow and part of your arm and that in it, but you know, you might be able to adjust them. This is already set up for the other. I just took them off one bike and brought them straight over and sat in place and left the adjustments as it is. But one thing I will say, this Hunter's a really nippy little bike to ride, and the best thing about it, you come back on a second opinion. You know, sometimes when you do a test on a bike, or some of them do a test on a bike and knock something on them, it's not as good as test as coming back and do a rerun. And seeing I own both bikes, an old Fairlane, you don't see many old Fairlanes around there. So when you get out there and you can try both, and you own both bikes, so you don't have to be that biased, although I've been a little bit biased towards the classic 350 Reborn. But I'm thinking now, you know, this one here, it really is a smart little bike, as far as being one, nimble, two, it's got really nice low down torque, so it gets up and goes, and when you swing it up along here as you're going along, look at this, just no trouble at all, just swings left, right. So overall, a really good little ride for not a great deal of money. So apart from that, I did notice back there when I applied the front disc, it's still a bit dead or woody in the front disc brake area, so it's not crash hot there. So that'll be something long term that I hope it improves. I've seen them improve on the 500, so they're bye-bye brakes, bye-bye, whatever way you want to go. Probably Bybri. So either way, I've seen them improve on those, but we'll see what happens in that line. But overall, if you're on the fence and you're thinking to yourself, would it be worth me trouble going to these touring mirrors? I would say yes, but at the moment I'm only running the bike in around town, so I really wouldn't know till I get it out on the road. One good thing back there, as soon as I go to pull up, I can put my foot or feet flat on the road there, and you know, like really added a little bit of security. Also there's a fair bit of bite in that back brake, even if the front one's not too crash hot. And I think once you get this bike running along a little bit more, and you put say 300 kilometres and the tyres are a little bit better, you'll be able to sort of swing it around the bend so a little bit better too. You can hear that exhaust note as you're going along, so that part's alright. I've still noticed a little bit of stretch when I get over to the bars, but you know, I suppose one thing is I've solved the mirror problem with it. Tell you what, see this place here we are now, around about 60 years ago I used to live in a place just over here in this section here. Now what I was thinking, I don't know if you're interested, one day I might do a ride around this area, what I used to get up to 60 years back. And to give you an idea, 60 years back, living in the place there when it was available, it was really, believe it or not, it was really rock bottom. So if you ever wanted to live in any place, you might as well say that when you were in there, anything you did after that was uphill, because it just wasn't a pleasant place by people's standards to live. And as a school kid, going to school like 10, once they knew you lived in a place like that, they didn't want their kids hanging around with you or playing with you at all. So that sort of a thing, when it happens, it sort of plays on your mind even 60 years later. So apart from that, that's the way it goes in that line. But yeah, guys, so I was just going to let you know again that if you'd like to do a nostalgia run, like going back what it was like here 60 years ago, living up, when I went to the shops or the other fun we got up to, I could give a one ride out here one time. Just leave a comment, tell me what you think of the idea, and I can tell you about a bit of the fun we got up to, even though I used to live in this shithole of a place in those days. But take into account too, there was around about 20 or 30 kids in that place, so you know, even though if you weren't allowed to play with the other kids from other areas, or they didn't allow, the fact is you had your own little community in there anyway, so that side of it was pretty good. So just goes to show you how much things have changed around here, because in the end I think I spent 2 years there, and then the parents ended up getting a house and commissioned a house just over the way there, about, I don't know, 400 metres away. And I spent, I don't know, 10 years there. So apart from that, let's get on to this. Yeah, so this little Hunter is second time around. A little bit of a dark horse. I think now I'm sort of getting the hang of it. Like I said, still a little bit sore in the shoulders, but I've solved the mirror problem. I've only put 57 k's on it, so this is the third run on the particular bike. But overall, you know, it's got a really slick little gearbox in it. You know, really nice changing, and it's really peppy. So I'd say once I get, look at that, I almost, I think I got a bit of a backfire there. I think once I get things partying on this bike and put the kilometres up and run bed the tyres in, it should be a good little ride. So at the moment, I've got no regrets that, you know, I bought the Hunter. There's nothing wrong with the classic 350 reborn and having the Hunter too, because lately I've been out on the 350 reborn, and we'll swing on to the other subject for a minute. I suppose if you're wondering what's happening with the ride camp and cook section, well, I haven't been sort of overrun by people wanting to sub to the channel. I've had a few lookers, but in one of the clips especially, and I've had a couple of them, a few more subs join, but no big numbers. But that doesn't matter. Like I thought it over, and what's happening now is, I was thinking, I've been talking about it for a fair while to some of the old hands or the subs on the channel, and I think I owe them the ride, camp and cook regardless. So I am going to go out and do 3, and just thought I'd let you know at the moment I have completed 1. So I've completed 1, and all I've got to do now is get around to do the editing, because I only completed it yesterday, the first one, and now I've got to put it all together. But I would say in the next few days, or by next Friday, I should have that together. I think it'll go something like around about maybe 30 minutes. So if you're one of the ones when the time comes up that had wanted to see this camp, cook and ride series, you know, it'd be greatly appreciated if you get there and give it a thumbs up and leave a comment, and if possible watch all of it, because there's some good parts in it, and I've gone to a lot of trouble to put it together. And best of all, no talking, anything like that. It's all natural sound, and some really nice scenery and some other stuff in there too. So overall, I think you should get a bit of a buzz out of that one. after that I'll decide if I want to carry on with the idea or not, because I wouldn't say I'm mad about the idea. There goes the local copper there. But apart from that, I'm sort of enjoying the thrill of going around and you know, doing a ride, camp and cook. And it was good to get off the Classic 350 Reborn and get on this one for a change and see how it performs. So the other thing I was going to say is, you know, it's a little bit cold here today riding around, but perfect weather I think to run in a motorbike. And you can just come out here and run around here, and the best thing about the weekend, no traffic. It's remarkable how a switch of mirrors make a lot of difference to a ride on a motorcycle. Like now I can see out the mirrors nice and clear. You can pick up those touring mirrors if you want to on eBay and just buy them directly from India. They're not cheap, they're about a couple $100 a throw, like for the pair. But if you keep that in mind, that might be something that you want to do. I'm hoping to pick up a little bit of exhaust note too for you as we're going along, so that'll be interesting. Getting a fair bit of wind noise, so I don't know what the audio is going to be like. Tell you what, this has got a really slick little gearbox, and it's really good to change through the gears. And that back brakes compensates for the front one. It isn't, or the front one, it isn't really crash hot. But overall it's a nippy little bike to ride, this. The biggest trouble I think you'll find when you get into one of these is getting used to the gear change and foot brake placement. But they're very similar to, in a way, riding an Interceptor. When you first get on one of those, you've got to point your toe in because they've only got smaller pegs on it. And when I did a comparison between the Classic 350 Reborn and this particular Hunter, this one's got really small pegs compared to that one. So as far as that goes, well, you know, I think after a while I'll get used to it. But I am sort of really wrapped in how will these mirrors go. I don't know if the bar ends will work any better, or whether I ought to switch the bar ends over to the 350 Reborn, see how that goes. I'll tell you another thing I noticed too today. When I was checking to see how many people had sort of been looking around and subbing to the channel, there was a notification from YouTube to tell me that with the clips I've put up since I've been into it on the second attempt, that I've now had 5 million views. So 5 million views sounds alright, but if you look at the amount I get now per clip, which is only 1,000, some of those earlier ones must have done extremely well. So you know, if you look at somebody's and think they're getting a high amount of views, I may have been once, but not so much now. So I don't know if that'll improve or not, but you know, even if I don't get the subs count, I can always say I got 5 million views on YouTube, so that's one plus there. But back to this little bike, it really is a pleasant little bike to ride, and the best thing about it when you're riding along here, you can always look down, like I'm doing 50 kilometres now, and the best thing I like about it, it's got the gear selector there to just tell you that you're in fourth. And riding around town, you know, you can go third or fourth if it's a nice flat area, or going down a hill like this, as long as you're not there flogging that accelerator, throttle I should say, we're not in the car. And also the clock too, the clock's nice and easy to read, so no drama there either. So overall, I think I've only got to go to the stage now where the biggest problem is leaning over to that bar, and I miss those brake pedals again then. That brake pedal, like, I'll have to have one look and see what is the main drama there. Just a really odd setup. Usually you get used to them after a couple of rides, but this is my third attempt on this bike, so I reckon later on, but once it's run in, I'll be able to give it a bit of a workout when I get it out in the roads, or back roads I should say, and hopefully by then the front brake will improve. The one thing about one of those brakes that aren't really powerhouses when you stop them, they're not liable to get you into trouble if you get out there and apply the brakes hard and have that ABS working overtime. Looks like to be now that you know, you can apply it pretty hard and nothing drastic would happen from a change like that. But I even think now with the bike with a bit over 60 kilometres on it, feels probably a little bit smoother than what it was when I first got on it. So who knows, it could be in the mind, but may not. I suppose time will tell. But there's no doubt Enfield's now are certainly putting together some nice little machines with good gearboxes, you know, like on the last bikes, the Reborn, the other one, had no false neutrals, not like the old days where they used to be box full of neutrals. They were really troublesome bikes, those old 500s compared to these new 350s. So I'm happy I'm a 350 runner. Apart from that, I've had that little bit of a run on it today, and I can go home, see if I can put something together for you. Just to let you know that the first ride Camp Cook's done and dusted. See how well I can throw the edit together to make it interesting, and once again hope you get to the stage when you watch it that you watch it all the way through and give the chance to for the clip to do all right. So I've just hooked it here to the fence. It's got a loop one end, comes down into the system itself, which has got a lock system on it just there. So that means you can pull the cord and then lock it in and it'll hold position. And I don't know, you know, like I said, I don't know much about these, so I just hooked it up there to the tail of the bike, over to the handlebars, and that green thing I decided I'd put that on because I did find when I was in the paddock with the other bike, the Suzuki, on the ground, the wheel kept spinning around when I was trying to move it around anyway, so I decided to put a clip on there just to hold the brake pedal down. And here she is sitting here like so. Okay, we'll let it. So I tell you what, we'll go all the way. Now lock it. Okay, it's locked.